All right, guys. Welcome back to the next episode of the Grand Prairie PD podcast. I'm here as always with KD.
Yes, sir.
And today we got Officer David, actually Detective David. I forgot you're one of our new detectives.
Property crimes.
Or some people call it minor crimes.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, because we have major crimes, which those are robberies and homicides and sex assaults,
Makes
and
sense.
then property crimes, which is important, but the obvious comparison when you have a unit called major crimes is, well, if you're not major crimes,
You're minor.
you're minor crimes.
We'll get your Xbox back, though.
Yeah.
We'll try. We'll do our best.
Okay.
Now, for everybody listening, I just want to set the tone
Yes, please.
of this interview because it's probably going to go a little differently than a lot of them do. David's a very special man,
Charismatic is the word.
charismatic,
Yeah.
and he.
All right.
In preparation, oftentimes we have people fill out bios and they listen to previous episodes of the podcast to get an idea of. Carlos is already writing a note telling you to stop doing stuff. They'll listen to the podcast and kind of get an idea of how things are going to go, what to expect. And David's preparation was to take a bite of a protein bar to do push-ups at the same time so he could get prepared and look good.
Look good for the video.
I was just trying not to be nervous, dude. I was trying to calm down,
Yeah. All right.
get the blood flowing,
Yeah. Big Papa Pump over here.
and then I choked.
And then you choked. So if he coughs, it's because he still has protein bar lodged in his
Yeah.
throat.
His throat.
It's not smart.
Oh man.
Well, David, why don't you talk a little bit about what you actually do for the department?
Yeah, like you said, I'm in property crimes now, so I've been up there since December. You know this already. I work with you. Yeah, I've been up there since December. Definitely a change for sure. I was in patrol for 8 years or so. Most of that was nights. I think seven of the 8 years was on night shift. Switched over to days. That I wasn't a huge fan of days. I mean, it was cool being on a regular schedule, but it was not the same type of police work. So
How's it different?
for me, it just wasn't as exciting. You know, like people walking around or you're riding a bike at 11 a.m., nowhere near as suspicious as riding around at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, inherently, just because of the time, that can change things. And that's where a lot of criminal activity happens, you know, in the dark when people are asleep. So in the middle of the day, if somebody's just riding a bike, they're just going to QT or whatever, getting a drink and, you know, doing their thing.
Yeah. And car chases suck a lot more.
Oh, terrible. Like
Yeah,
terrible.
More people on the road.
You get in a car chase at night, it's pretty open. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say go so far as to say safe because car chases inherently are risky.
Yeah.
Right. But compared to daytime, it's
I didn't even want to get in a chase during daytime.
no.
And I love chases, but not during daytime.
Oh,
There's too many cars.
I terminate them myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the calls are different too. I remember when I first got to day shift, you'd be going to fraud calls and like stuff about insurance scams. I'm like, what is? Where are the drugs? Like, who hit who?
Yeah.
You call the cops.
More reports during the day.
Yeah. So
That's
you
not fun.
you said how many years altogether? 8, 9?
I'm about to hit 9
Jeez.
in June. Will be my ninth year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone by fast.
Yeah, it is.
Very
still-
fast. It seems like yesterday I got here and you and I were on.
Yeah.
How many years you got?
I've been here since 16.
Maybe do the math.
Yeah.
7?
I'm a cop. I don't
Almost
do
7
math.
years?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what so have you crossed over 14 altogether? Because I just hit 14 altogether.
No, I'm at 11.
Oh, okay.
11.
Yeah. So okay, well, I'm not gonna call it minor crimes, but now that you're in property, do you want to go somewhere else? Because everybody it seems starts at property and then they just venture out and
I mean, to be honest, not really. Not right now.
yeah.
Man, I love patrol. So, like, I mean, even watching all the different body cams and stuff like that for some of these like car chases and stuff, like
Yeah.
that just makes me want to go back to patrol.
Yeah.
I love the opportunity, and I'm blessed to have the opportunity that I got right now. So, and I was kind of burnt out, to be honest. Like, I was just,
Yeah.
you know, I wasn't feeling the same type of passion, like coming into work every day. So, I needed a change, and eventually I want to promote. So, seeing this side of things definitely is going to give me a different perspective and more knowledge. So it's going to help out.
So you sit down at your computer, you log in, you get a case, say someone's car's been broken into. What does that look like for you? A patrol is pretty straightforward. You write down what they tell you happened, and you send it on to a detective. You get that case, though, and now you have to figure out what happens. What does that actually look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
I mean, for me, like I'm just looking for any sort of lead, right? So it's like, okay, do they have video of the offense? Did anybody see the suspect? Do we have a description of them? Do we have a description of the vehicle? Do we have a license plate? And just kind of going down different rabbit holes trying to figure out who the person might be.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of times you don't.
I've been surprised at the how much the job is basically social media stalking, where you kind of wind up figuring out, hey, this person likely is the one who did it, or this type of stuff is being sold somewhere, and you want to spend a decent part of your time on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, just trying to find these people and establish.
Yeah, I need like our property crimes login too, because I'm searching all these people on my personal, and I mean, if you look at my search history, it's all these, I mean, like just random criminals, really.
Yeah.
So that's cool, right? Like I'm just searching up criminals. All on my personal stuff.
Accidentally liking pictures and
And somebody said that we have a property crimes unit like Facebook, but I don't know it. So
now, property's not the only job you do. What else? What else you do?
at the PD, what do I do?
Yeah,
I'm on SWAT.
yeah, that's what I'm talking.
So yeah, I figured. Yeah, I'm on SWAT team, so that's cool. I've been doing that since, let's see, my second year here. So I just passed 7 years. 7 years doing SWAT.
So you're required to do 2 years on the department before you can apply for SWAT. So that was something you knew coming in you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I thought about being a cop, it just always was attractive to me, like doing something cool like that. So yeah, whenever I pictured being a cop, it's like the movies, like you see them on SWAT trucks and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I knew as soon as I got here, like in the academy, being taught by SWAT guys, that I was just like, man, that's awesome. So, and it's just like something else, like anything else. You just want to be better at your job, and I think all the training that we get on SWAT, like it just helps.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's really the best part is all the training, and then being part of a team. I've always been part of a team, whether it's growing up playing sports or whatever.
Okay.
So,
now talking about the training, I would imagine there's only so much training you can do behind like making entry on a house or something like that. Is it all focused just on like entries or barricaded persons, that sort of stuff, or do you get a pretty wide range of stuff?
Yeah, you get a pretty wide range of stuff. Like right now, I'm on sniper team, so I get to learn about bolt guns, different type of weapons, stuff like that, and then that's a whole different ball game. Going from entry to a sniper position, just because on entry, I mean, like your main focus is the structure. So making entry to the structure, whatever that might look like. But as part of the sniper team, I mean, it's like I said, a whole different ball game where you're looking outside the structure, everything around it, and you're looking for different locations that are going to be able to conceal yourself, and then have a better vantage point on the location. You're more of like the eyes for everybody. So yeah, way different, but also very cool training.
Do you wear a ghillie suit?
I haven't yet. In training, we do. Like we have these things that we wear, but I've never been in like a full ghillie. I get poison ivy too, dude. Like every single time that we've done this training, I get poison ivy, and I'm telling you, I get it bad, like real bad.
What is a obviously you're shooting, but what is sniper? Because the reason I ask, because when a lot of people hear sniper, they're thinking of
the movies
about Chris Kyle and whatnot. Military-based stuff where you're engaging all the time. Cops obviously aren't going out there and getting in shootings all the time with sniper rifles, and certainly not long distances. So your role is a little different than a traditional military role.
Yeah, big time.
How does that? How is it different?
Well, I think the average engagement with a sniper, in a law enforcement capacity, is like 59 yards or something. That's the average distance of a shot. I mean, we could all make that shot with an AR, right?
Right.
But so it's definitely it's vastly different than military from what I know about the military side. Yeah, it's rare that you're going to engage somebody. Like I said earlier, it's like you're the eyes for the team, even because they're not directly in front of the structure. They're not seeing everything that you're seeing, So you're basically just watching and,
Right.
you know, observing, reporting. That's kind of our bread and butter.
But if like y'all are out watching, you know, you're on a barricaded person, and that person comes out and starts firing, you can engage just like everybody else, right?
Yeah, I mean that's when we would engage, right? So if somebody steps out, we have a clear shot. They're a deadly threat to anybody, whether it's us or the general public. Then that's our job. You know, we just gotta. It's pretty clear how we do things. You know, nobody's in front of the structure or in our path. So, yeah, we should be able to take that shot. That's on us.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned finding concealment and staying outside the view, obviously, the person that you're after.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you're usually successful at, or do you find that have there been times you're like, oh, man, I'm doing a really good job. I got my poison ivy and my ghillie suit. I'm ready to go. And then they look at you, you're like, crap.
No. I don't know if you've seen any pictures, but there was one that we had, and I'm a spotter right now, so I'm like sniper certified, but my role currently is a spotter, which means I'm just assisting the primary guy on the bolt gun. So yeah, it depends. Like we started at night, and I was on patrol, so I had my black uniform on, and I mean it quickly turned to daylight because it was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden, something's coming up, and now I'm just laying in the middle of a field in a black uniform. Dude, I'm not concealed at all. And then, like, as a spotter, my job is to make sure that the primary guy is concealed. You know, like get his netting on him, all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that he's concealed. And then I'm off to the side. You know, I'm on an optic or something. I got a rifle too, just to also observe. But yeah, I was in my police uniform, and then I seen pictures where somebody was taking pictures of it was on the PD side, so I don't think it was put anywhere. Luckily, because I just didn't look very good. I'm sitting there in an all black uniform, not hidden whatsoever, laying in a field.
Yeah.
So
we'll give him a high vis vest next time.
I mean, I might as well should have been, because if this person has any sort of knowledge, like trying to find us, I was gone.
That's funny.
So
Now, what? Why does a sniper need a spotter? Because a sniper is there with a rifle, a high-powered optic, I assume.
yeah.
What in the world? Like, what are you possibly going to see that he's not?
So technically, they don't need one. They can, you know, some other teams, they go out on their own,
really?
or they deploy on their own. But so think about, like, if you're sitting there staring through an optic, you might have zoom in or just whatever. You're concentrated on the location and any sort of movement, windows, whatever. You know, you can only see so much. Right. So you might be looking at, you know, you might see front door and a couple windows next to it, but you're not seeing like the left side of the house.
Gotcha.
Or the right side of the house, or whatever it is. You're also not seeing what's happening around you. So if you're laying, you know, in between two houses, or just whatever place that you found best. I mean, who's to say that homeowner's not best friends with this guy across the street, right. And now he's walking out the back door and he sees you laying there. Well, that's the spotter is there to pay attention to the surroundings. So
gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of there just for almost like a backup capacity. But we're also like watching the house, so you know, where you have that limited point of view as the guy on the bolt gun. Like I'm watching the parts that he can't watch.
Right.
Just binoculars or something. I'm on the radio, like I'm doing that, the radio traffic, so he can just focus on what he's doing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Is that kind of a promotion going to sniper from spotter, or is it just interchangeable?
It's just interchangeable. It's not a promotion or anything. It's usually somebody that has been on the team for a little bit, though, just because you have a good basic knowledge of everything that's kind of going on. Mm-hmm. I mean, some guys have gotten on sniper team pretty quick. I honestly, I wasn't. It wasn't even like a huge interest for me at first.
Right.
At first, I just liked the excitement of being a part. You know, because as a sniper, it's like you play baseball, right? Like infield, you're like in the game. You hear everything. You're in the game. You're in the action. Outfield, you're just kind of sitting back and like you can't really hear much. You're just watching. Every once in a while, you might get something cool, or exciting or whatever that you get to be a part of. But yeah, it's at first I just wanted the action.
Yeah. Right. Shout out to all my center fielders and damn.
Hey, I played. That's what I played outfield, and now I play infield and old man baseball, softball. So I feel like I'm part of the game now.
That's funny. Well then, okay, so let's rewind. How did you get into law enforcement? Like, you know, growing up, you said this is something you've always wanted to do?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So my dad, he's a retired officer for Fort Worth, and so I grew up around it, right? But he was military, he was in the reserves, and then he was also a cop for Fort Worth. So I grew up around it, but I never thought about being a cop. Yeah. Never. I don't know why, but I wasn't like the kid in a cop costume on Halloween or anything like that. Like I just
say that's out of the ordinary. Most kids are.
Yeah, it's like you grow up
just be a cop.
wanting to be a cop, but no, I had no intentions of being. I mean, I didn't even think about it. Yeah. I don't know why, but I just didn't. And then I played like I said, I played baseball, so I played lots of baseball. I don't know why, but I thought it was just easy. I'm just going to go to the pros. Like, that's just what I'll do. Like I had no like real influence for baseball, I would say, like that told me things, like what I need to do and how I'm going to get there if I even wanted that to make it. But no, I didn't. Like, I just thought I'll just play sports. I'll just play baseball. And then high school, I realized like, yeah, it's not going to happen, like, and so I don't know, reality hit, and then I was supposed to go to college. Because that's the thing you're supposed to do. And I had no idea what I wanted to study. No idea. And so I was like, all right, I guess accounting. I don't know. And
oh, God.
I wasn't. It was a bad idea because I wasn't smart enough for that. Yeah. It was a bad idea.
I was like, oh, no, me and numbers, nah.
No, I don't even know why I thought. I just had to pick something, you know? So I was like, okay, I'll do
it's high
business. On
the list because it starts with an A. It's just like, I don't want to do this one.
The first one. I don't like reading, so I just chose the first one. No, I got to school, and like, I don't know, I had to make a decision. And then, first thing I thought was business. I was so general, I just like business. And then I knew some people going through accounting, and I was like, okay, I'll do that. I didn't even know what accounting was. And I was like, all right. And, but then, it hit me. I was like 19, I think. I was 19, and it just kind of hit me one day. I was, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Well, I've never thought about this." It's a typical thing. Like, you see a car accident and you want to go help, or whatever. You see somebody getting beat up, you want to go help. You just kind of like have that inside of you, which I think all of us do. But yeah, all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, man, if I like doing all that, plus I'm nosy, so I like to. I see like all these cops like working on something, and I'm like, man, what are they doing? My sister's a cop. She's a cop. So, like, they would be at my house.
I don't think I knew that.
You didn't know that? Man, yeah.
How long has she been doing it?
She's been doing it 15 or so years.
Oh, wow.
She's ranked up. She's doing good.
Cool.
We're kind of different types of cops, I think.
Like, she likes to read?
Yeah, she likes to read. She likes to study. She likes to take tests. She likes to get promoted. Yeah. I just like having fun. Maybe one day I'll get responsible. I don't know.
Man, don't grow up.
I'll be surprised.
It's overrated.
Yeah, I would be surprised too. I'm still trying to mature up. Yeah. But no, yeah, all of a sudden it hit me. Yeah. I was like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. See, I was the same way. I didn't want to, growing up, I didn't wear the costumes, didn't care about it. And somebody, I think, right after college, hey, you should think about being a police officer. I was like, yes, I get to work outside. Yes, let's do it.
Right, yeah.
That was me. So.
Yeah. Working outside, yeah, because I had a different job before this where I was stuck inside all the time.
Mm-hmm. I was sitting at a cubicle, going cross-eyed.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Now I sit at a cubicle. I worked for Bank of America for like 5 years.
Oh, nice.
No way.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Did you really?
Yeah, hated every minute of it.
What'd you do?
Loans.
Yeah, I was a personal banker.
Yeah, finance.
And that's like a glorified title.
Yeah.
Man, I reissued debit cards, and I changed PIN numbers. And
you the guy at the front desk?
No, I had legit my own office, so that was cool. I felt cool at first, but once you realize you're just like a glorified babysitter for these adults, I mean, that's kind of what we do now, right? Yeah. But it's literally for like pennies, like overdraft fees. It's debit cards, dude. Like, you know how many people lose their debit card?
Yeah.
A lot. I've lost mine like 11
Some
times.
people every day. Yeah. And they come in and
you said every day.
Every day. They're temporary cards. They ain't even gotten their real card yet. Yeah. And they're just losing their temporary cards.
Yeah. That'd be $5.
Yeah. And then they're mad at me. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Did you have to wear church shoes every day?
Yes. A tie. Hey, but I liked it then because, I don't know. I thought it was cool. I thought I was like fancy, I guess.
Well, you're an extraordinarily vain person.
Hey, that's messed up, dude.
Anyway.
Vain?
Yeah. Conceited.
Yeah, I get it. I'm questioning what you're saying. I get the word. I understand
most of the time
word.
when you give me that look, it's because you don't know the word I'm using.
Hey, sometimes that's true, but
not right
just
now.
because I don't like to read doesn't mean that I'm illiterate and I don't understand things, okay?
I'll make sure I don't call you illiterate again.
Hey, it was. Did you wear suit and tie and all that stuff too, or no?
So no ties, but it was, what is it called? Business casual. So yeah, I did finance. But I tell you what, working in mortgages for 5 years, bro, the information and the knowledge,
Yeah.
powerful stuff.
I will say that I mean, it educated me, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But it was so much. What years did you work over there? After 2008 or 2009 or whatever?
No. So it was right before then. So it was like around 2002 to 07.
Oh, you worked at the good time.
Yeah, right before that.
Yeah, the crash. Yeah, because after that, it was like everybody's bonuses went down. You know, quarterly bonuses went to semi-annual bonuses, and they were like not even a third of what they used to be. So that's what I heard about all that right before I started working there.
Yeah.
And then so I thought it was cool. I mean, it was one of my buddies that worked there, and he was telling me about his bonuses, all that stuff. We were into cars, and he was always being able to buy all this fancy stuff for his car every single quarter because you're getting this bonus. And, you know, being young, I just thought, man, that sounds cool. So, yeah, I jumped in it. And then, were you ever a teller? Did you start off? Oh.
So I was inside. You would actually have to call me, and then I'd just get an app over the phone and do like a refi on your house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started off as a teller. Like 6 months as a teller.
No way. I could.
So whenever you go in and you have to do something, do they judge you based on your account balance? Because I feel like they judge you.
Yeah,
I
let the
mean-
secrets out. Let the secrets out.
I would like to say I don't judge anybody, you know?
Oh my God, stop it.
Look,
Do nothing but judge people.
Well, hey, this is where I worked. I worked in South Lake, and then I worked in Trophy Club.
oh, jeez.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you know anything about those two cities, they
Here's your $118,000 check, man. Was there anything else I
people.
can do
It
for
was
you?
like that, dude. Like they would just be like, "Hey, I need to pull out 85,000 cash." You're like, "Why? For what, dude? Like, you having a party or something? What's going on?" $85,000 cash for, you know?
Yeah.
So it's, and you know, people don't think, they think the bank has like millions of dollars just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll be right back. And just go count it up. But no,
I still think that's how it works.
Yeah.
no, dude, like they have, I mean, I say limited, it's still probably, I mean, honestly, I can't remember, but maybe like 150,000 or something like that.
No.
Yeah, for real. Like operating cash. It might be at different times, maybe the weekend, it's going to be more than that.
Yeah.
But like on a Monday morning or something, like when the bank comes and picks up money that, you know, it's like deposit over the weekend, they really don't have that much money. It's not like the movies where they walk in
Right,
and,
okay.
and get like, go in there and they got stacks of cash everywhere.
Yeah.
It's literally you open up a safe and there's like, you're like, where's all the money? Like, but that's all they got in there. And it's just, I don't know, for safety reasons probably.
So,
So
so like
if
the
somebody-
movies where they have that big old vault door and you have to sit there and spin that
Yeah,
thing?
pretty much. I mean, not all of them. Some of them are just a dial or whatever. I mean, they're still big. They're still big vaults, but
They're just empty.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's
Where's
a bunch
the
of like
money?
coins in there. You know, it's just all this random stuff. Not that random. It's like money.
Did you ever
but
get to go in?
go in?
In the
to
vault. Yeah.
It's not. You can't even walk into it. It's not that cool like the movies. It's not like a big huge door and then you walk in. It's
I
like,
feel like I just found out Santa Claus isn't real.
man, maybe at some of these old banks, you know, like in New York and all those big, you know, cool places.
Well, all
But
the bank, even the little small town banks in GTA, you can walk into.
Yeah.
in GTA, God, man, you play video games too much.
Yeah.
I don't play video games at all anymore.
You literally were on a video game this morning on your phone, catching fish.
Not while I was
You were
working.
catching.
He
I know
was
it was. It
working.
was like, well, we
Not
started
while I
at
was
7. This was like at 6:30.
Oh, okay. All right.
I started work at 6.
Apparently, he gears up for
jeez.
work playing little video games, catching fish, dude. He was on a raft.
No, it's a fun little.
He was on a raft and going to an island. You want me? Are you okay with this? You want me to tell everything?
Go
It's
ahead.
not I didn't design
On a
the thing.
raft, and I'm pretty sure he said fishies. He didn't even say I'm catching fish.
Yeah.
He said I'm catching fishies.
That's how you know we have kids. It's okay.
Exactly.
I know,
Sometimes
that's the
don't-
first-
When I use
No,
the
no.
word fish, it's
I
always-
asked him. I said, "Did your kid show you this?" No,
That's true. I did find it.
he found it on his own.
All right.
I don't appreciate you judging me though, because when usually when fish is a part of my vocabulary, I'm talking to my kids. Hey, you want to go fish? Hey, you want to go catch some fish?
Yeah, but guess
when
what?
you're talking about getting catfished or
You're a
or
middle-aged
catfish.
man talking to me. Hey, it's messed up, dude. You're a middle-aged man talking to another middle-aged man about catching fishies.
I'm not middle-aged. You're older than me.
Barely.
You crossed that midline. Anyway, back on topic.
I'm more mature.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
So anyway, Bank vaults are fake.
Bank vaults are fake. Yeah.
So no gold bars either.
No, I've never even seen a gold bar. Maybe no. They got those in the safe boxes though. I know people put gold bars in there.
For real?
Yeah, just like their personal.
How can I get one?
You just got to go in there and ask for one, and tell them you got to pay like.
I was gonna say you don't just
You
ask.
got to pay like I don't know, $15 a month or something.
For a gold bar?
No.
I want the gold bar.
Oh, I thought you meant safe box. I was like, just go in there, dude.
I like a gold bar.
Just go in there.
Are you sure you decided to quit banking, or they said I don't think this is for you?
Nathan, I'm just going to talk to KD from now on. No, yeah, you just walk in there, but you have anything that you put in a safe box?
Yeah, maybe like a college ring.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you played sports, so that's cool. That's a cool ring.
Yeah.
I didn't even get a college ring.
And you played baseball in college?
Nah.
Oh.
Nah, I quit after my senior year.
So I should have. The coach calls the football office and goes, "Hey, I want KD to come out." And so here's my response. True story. Hey, what time do they practice? He goes, "They're starting at 7:30." I said, "7:30 tonight?" He says, a football coach says, "Yes." I said, "All right, I'm going to my dorm room." And I never played. And I should have. But I never played.
Oh, you never played?
Not
What?
college baseball. No. I just
Oh,
played
baseball,
football.
yeah. Okay. But you played baseball growing up in
Mm-hmm.
high school and all that stuff?
Bro, I've been to 2 World Series. I know for a long time I had a record in one of them, 27 straight outs.
Oh, okay. So you played in the World Series. Like a Little League?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Back then it was called Dixie League. Dixie.
I
World
thought you were
Series.
bragging about going to a World Series. to
Oh, no,
watch.
no.
I was like, man, that's cool too.
Yeah, but no, man. We had fun. I was one of those baseball geeks growing up. I
Yeah,
loved it.
baseball's a good sport, man. I know you like baseball.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump on that for a second. Knowing what you know now, would you have your kids play baseball or football?
Baseball, hands down.
And every football player that I know say the same thing. I said, you wouldn't let your son. Nope.
Probably
Because
for injury reasons, right?
There you go.
But I just think, I mean, both are. I think sports in general for kids is awesome, right? They learn so much, especially with good coaches that teach them like life, values and stuff. But man, the CTE stuff is scary.
real.
And I don't have any kids, right? But yeah, I mean, if I had one, that's the last thing I'd want is for my kid to like deal with that. I love football. I love watching it. I'm sure it would be so much fun watching my little kid run around and play. But
Yeah, I'm to the point now it's where if my son is going to play, I'm going to train him because
Right.
I just don't
Yeah.
trust the coaches that
And
filled out a nap.
people
And
the people who play football or who played football and have their kids in it, that's their requirement. Like, they won't do it unless they're a
unless
coach.
I'm coaching, because you're not going to get some guy that filled out a piece of paper that, hey, I'm a coach.
Yeah,
No, you're
yeah.
not. Get out of here.
so would you enjoy coaching a bunch of little kids running around always?
Right now, I go to Ashton's game, 7-year-old flag football.
Yeah.
I don't know how to coach. Nope.
That's what I'm saying. The patience that they have.
No, sir.
See, I watch, like if I've ever been to my buddy's kids' T-ball game or something like that, all these little kids are, I mean, I'm sure it's so cute if it's your own kid. And, it would be fun to watch as a dad. But I'm watching this game. I have obviously no kids playing, so there's no emotional attachment to it. And I'm just like, dude, like this kid is like, he's not even on the field anymore.
Or they're standing out there in the outfield. They're playing with the grass.
They're hopping on second base.
Yeah, pay attention. Running to the wrong base. My kid ran onto the other field. And I'm just like, and it's all cute.
You just pretend like he's not yours anymore.
The best
Like,
is when
oh,
they
somebody's
first start and they go just hit the ball and immediately take off up the third base line.
Like third
Just
base,
go the other
yeah.
way.
And you got to like grab them and like point them in the right direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
So was that a big
patience.
deal for your I'm assuming your dad didn't push you towards law enforcement. So
No,
you
not
didn't
at all.
Was he big at pushing you into sports, or did he like?
No, not even that. My dad was he's a great father. Like both my parents, man, I'm super, super lucky. Taught me a lot of good values and instilled ethics into me and stuff. Just even just like watching them, how they acted and how they treated us and other people and stuff. So I learned a whole lot from them. They always supported everything I wanted to do. I never really got in trouble. So, I surrounded myself by good friends. Luckily, at a young age, I've had some friends that are lifelong friends. But yeah, no, my dad played baseball when he was younger. He would always throw the ball with me on the side of the house and stuff. But I mean, I'm sure if I told him, hey, I'm done, he'd be like, okay. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do.
See, I don't know if I'm that good of a parent.
Yeah.
No, actually, I did quit. I quit in 5th grade because I got hit in the head.
And
It took you till 5th grade to get hit in the head?
What, you get hit in the head as a young child?
I mean, my kids have getting hit in the head numerous times.
Not just like barely hit me. Like I was pitching, and this
line drive.
dude cranked it, man. Like one of my best friends, he's so good, and I don't know how hard he came. We were probably we're 5th grade, and he hit it and boom, hit me right in the side of the head, knocked me out, and I landed on the ground. I opened my eyes and I was like, and then from that point on, I mean, I hate admitting it, but I was scared.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to hit
absolutely.
anymore. I wouldn't stand in the box.
Yeah.
Just because I just thought, dude, this thing's gonna hit me in the face again.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That's called chin music. We used to say if you put it right here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they'll back up off that plate.
See, I didn't even need chin music. You can throw a perfect strike, and I'm outside the box already. I'm like, dude, too fast.
That's funny.
I'd play underhand.
Yeah.
I would, but
But it's funny you say that, like you say your dad is supportive or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, to this day, he'll call me. So, you still like doing that police thing? Huh?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, Pops, I've been doing it for over 40 years. I
Yeah.
like it. A few more years, I'll retire. He was like, okay. And it was the same way, football. I was the smallest person on the field all the time. So those some pretty big boys out there.
so
You okay?
he's concerned about your safety,
There you
right?
go. And I'm like, Pops, I got it.
Yeah. I'm sure it's hard to let your little one out there and
Yeah.
get hurt. Mm-hmm. No, but since my mom dealt with my dad being a cop and military, getting deployed and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird because I couldn't even cross the street I couldn't even leave my house without her telling me be careful and she loves me.
Yeah.
Ever seen one of my friends that show up to my house? They're like, we're going down the street, and your mom's like, be careful, Davey. And like, I love you.
How old is your mom?
I just made her sound like she's 85. I was trying to make her sound sweet. She's a sweet lady.
She does sound sweet.
A sweet old lady
85,
now.
yeah.
Old lady.
She used to be a sweet young lady. Now she's a sweet old lady.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but she didn't give any grief about me being a cop. But I couldn't cross a 4-lane street until I probably still couldn't if I asked her.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And
What was
I don't tell her anything. The crazy calls.
That was one of my questions. Was what was their reaction? Because I guess your dad and your mom already dealt with your sister doing it. Mm-hmm. Was it kind of like, oh, okay, we got another one doing it, or did they not?
Man, pretty much. Yeah. I think they were. I mean, they're proud. I know my dad is super proud.
Yeah.
He wishes that he was still working by the time like I started working.
Yeah.
Because he's got some pictures with my sister. Like they're both in uniform and stuff. So I mean, I think that would have been cool too. But yeah, they're super proud.
You and your sister kind of compete back and forth.
I think, man, if she listens to this, she might get mad at me. But I think she might, but I don't. I could care less.
Because you think you're better?
No.
Well, he's in SWAT, bro.
Oh, that's true.
SWAT just means I got extra training.
Oh, you're not. Yeah.
So it's not your fault.
It doesn't
that
make
you're
me any
better.
more cool.
You're just.
No. I'm not saying that. Now you're making me. Now she's gonna get mad at me, and I'm not even saying this stuff. No, she might. She's always been competitive like that.
Yeah.
Like who's doing what,
Right.
and how can I be better? Which is good for her because that's gotten her promoted.
That's what I was about to say.
A
I'm
lot.
assuming from the way you're talking, she
Yeah.
outranks you.
Oh yeah. She's almost like a chief
Dang.
where she is. But that's her. That's her. That's the type of cop that she is, or the type of person she is. I'm sure she enjoyed patrol and whatnot, but then she quickly she's done everything like that. Graduated college in 3 years, got married, had kids right away, bought a house, all that stuff, where I was just, kind of just having fun. Just enjoying things.
Davey? Where's Davey?
He's crossing the street again.
You watch your brother.
But yeah, no, she's doing awesome. I'm proud of her. But yeah, I'm just not that type. I'm not the type that I'm sitting at a desk right now, but it's just not me to do forever.
Yeah. So do you see yourself, or when you start talking about longevity, does your sister have goals of being a chief, or does she want to go to like another city and run it, or
Nah, she wants to be a chief.
right where she is?
Yeah, I think if she can be a chief, then she's going to. Which,
Yeah.
things are looking that way.
All right, so she becomes a chief, And she goes, "Hey, I want you to come work for me."
Absolutely not. No.
Now she becomes the chief
Heck
and
no.
say, Cesny retires and we take from the outside. She takes that top spot.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
Next question.
He's like, resignation.
Next.
He's obviously going back to Night's Patrol.
Ooh, yeah. Stay away. I mean, I love her, but
Doesn't sound like it.
no, dude, I do love her.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You're putting me in a bad spot here. I love her. I just, it's your sister.
Look, just don't want to work for her.
Like,
Right.
yeah, I don't want her directing me around. You know?
You better do it. All right, bro. So let me turn the page. Who is DJ? What's your name?
What?
Huh?
You confuse yourself.
Yeah.
Who's DJ?
DJ Stout.
Oh, I just saw him write something. I know. I know what he's talking about. Yeah.
Go ahead. Elaborate. The floor is yours.
Well, I'm not a real DJ or anything, but we went to California to do recruiting, going to Ontario.
Okay.
So we went out there twice. I don't know. We're driving a minivan. It's not even cool. This is not a cool story. We're driving, what is it, a Chrysler minivan, me and that guy and a couple others. And yeah, somebody had to play music, right? Like we had to enjoy our time. And I quickly got turned into a DJ. And I don't know, I kept playing one specific song. Do you remember? Yeah. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I played the same song all the time, and it was just funny.
So you work for recruiting?
I don't currently, like, that's not like a job position or a job title I've ever had, but I I got injured a couple years ago, so I was over there helping out for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months, something like that. And so I knew how to do backgrounds. I learned how to do the backgrounds, and then being an FTO, I was able to do the oral boards in the hiring process. So since I had that experience, and I was pretty cool with like all the guys, I'm cool with all the guys over there. So a couple of us that were still on patrol, but we were FTOs, and so we got to go to California so we could help out with all the oral boards and all the testing.
So you just mentioned FTO. How long were you training? Are you still training?
No, technically I'm not training, but I don't know, 3-4 years I was in FTO, something like that.
Any crazy stories come out of that?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And just as a reminder for everybody, FTO is field training officer. So it's where you got a rookie at the academy.
Yep.
No, I wouldn't say anything too crazy. I had to learn patience with that. Yeah. Man, just so much, because you want to do things. You're used to doing things your own way. We're type A personalities. We like to do our things, specific to how we do them.
Yeah.
And so having somebody next to you that has no clue what they're doing and they're just stumbling, and I'm like, man, you're making, like, to me, I get embarrassed. Like, I'm sitting there like, man, they have no faith in us. You're like making us look bad as a unit. And so it's hard not to jump in and assure this person that we know what we're doing. I think, but the hardest part, it was, and I'm a terrible passenger. Like, I'm just terrible in the front seat. Yeah. I get motion sick. I had to take motion sick medicine every single shift.
What?
Every shift. Yeah.
I would quit.
I would get sick.
Yeah.
Like, and then once you get dizzy like that and sick, man, it's just like, I didn't even want to be in the car anymore. I didn't want to work.
See, where we came from, I had a partner, and he would go, I can't type a report while you drive. So he drove every day.
See,
guess
same.
He got stuck doing every.
My partner always drove too. I just like being a passenger, being the first one out of the car.
And you could type a report like, while somebody else is driving.
Yeah.
No,
I
would
can
be
type
so
a report
sick.
and drive.
Yeah, I mean, not supposed to do
not
that,
that I do that.
but I could do that too.
And hit 3 cars.
No, if I look down at my phone even, or a piece of paper, try to read it as a passenger, no, I'm sick. If I turn left or right too fast, I get sick, dizzy.
Okay. SWAT guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, riding in the vehicles on that, I get sick. I gotta like lean over. You've been in them, like you can only see the windshield if you're like leaned over and looking out. So you'll catch me like leaned over, trying to look out the front windshield just so I can see something.
He's the only guy in full kit with like a barf bag.
There's been a few times because we'll go outside the city or whatever on highways, hitting curves and stuff like that. People, it depends on who's driving. If they're braking too hard, hitting the gas too hard, just like all this movement. Yeah, I start getting sick. It sucks, dude.
Sounds
Get
terrible.
sick flying.
You know, the thing is, like, I was about to ask if like you get sick flying or on ships or anything, or
Yeah,
you're
boats.
just actually super scared of police work and don't realize it and assume it's police work or motion sickness.
Just
Like,
why
you
am I
just-
lightheaded?
you're just scared all the time.
I'm scared. No, it's legit, dude. Like, yeah, flying. If I'm on a boat and we drop an anchor and we're just sitting there, just on a lake, just like a little bit of movement, man, I'll be laying in my bed at night just moving still, like I'm on the water. Yeah, it's not.
You
good.
ever kick your rookies out of the driver's seat and drive for them?
Yeah, at least once or twice.
Yeah.
I really try not to though, because they're supposed to be learning. Yeah. So, but yeah, there was a couple times where either the medicine wasn't working or it was late. And
Well, did you ever do it for? Because like I've done it quite a few times. But it was because like guys are having bad days, or like they couldn't get out of there. Because a lot of times when you're an FTO, like you said, you're in a situation where you want them to go do stuff, but also we're still cops. We still have to make sure this person's issue doesn't get to just be a training exercise completely, because you still have to get it right.
Yeah.
And so you get a couple things wrong in a row, and sometimes it's like, okay, you know what? Let me
you need to
run
take a
things
step back for a second.
Yeah, watch how.
And
this
you
should be
almost
done.
So and that was beneficial to me, where I thought it would have been. So this is what I thought about when I was a field training officer. I thought about my experience, and there was some times where I wish I got to see more than just like a day or two of officer observation, just to see how they do things. So I would kind of incorporate that sometimes. So, but I really didn't try to take. I tried not to take over driving using the radio. But there was a couple times where I jumped in and I was like, okay, just watch for like the next 6 hours of this shift or whatever. So then they could get a good, what I would hope that I showed like a good example of how to do things.
Yeah. I remember riding passenger going to a stabbing, and we got passed by another unit going code 3. And we're on the tollway.
You were training somebody?
Yeah, and we're going code 3, but going like 70 miles an hour.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
And I'm just looking at him. I'm
you're
like,
sitting there and you're like, dude, what are we doing?
yeah, and you're hearing the call comments on the radio,
Yeah.
and you're just like, I'm not gonna hit him. I'm not gonna hit him. I'm not gonna hit him.
It's like mind-boggling, because you want to get there, you're just kind of nervous or whatever, so that's why. And they're thinking about all these other things, and so they're not thinking about how fast they're actually driving, or maybe not even driving in general. They're just thinking about, dude, a stabbing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what am I going to do when I get there? And then the entire time you're just like, dude. I mean, I've definitely lost my temper, like when they're not driving fast enough.
Yeah.
And I'm just like yelling, and
I remember being in the car with the veteran officer, not here, going code 3 somewhere, and he has the lights and sirens on, and there's an empty lane, and he pulls up behind the car. And we're like, woo!
just behind the car sitting
and
there.
he's waiting. He was like, get out of the way. And I'm like, no. And I mean, we had a few
Like,
words.
you have an empty lane right there.
And, bro, we ended up at the station. I mean, like, we fell out.
That's them just not even capable of thinking.
Yeah.
right.
Like in
Well,
that moment,
and
because
so-
they're too amped.
And that is a good example of the balance you have to strike as an FTO, because like the stabbing thing, it was a very serious call. Like there was a lot of moving parts going on with it. And on the one hand, that's my top priority. Is we need to get there. We need to handle up and protect these people. But at the same time, you also have that dual duty to the department and your rookie and the public to make sure you have an idea of if this person belongs in this uniform in this squad car. And at a certain point, you have to be able to say, hey, we need to get there, but I also need to be able to observe this person, how they respond to these stressors. And if there's someone who's, because one of the worst things as a cop is someone who is scared to make that decision or to get there first, and they're going to let other people arrive first. And that's a trait you want to identify fast. So,
Because it could be a different situation and where you're fighting somebody and they still don't want to get there.
Right.
And so they're not coming to help you very quick.
You need to get rid of that person. So you got to be able to take a minute and see if they're going to do that. And then the frustrating part is after you see them do it once, you got to address it. And then the next time there's a stressful situation, you have to try to find an opportunity to see if they're going to do it again, or if they're going to say, "Oh no, I need to make sure I'm paying attention and getting there quickly."
Or just take them to the DT.
That has worked for a few people. I mean, not me. I didn't do it, but somebody else did. And and then they were put with me, and I was told to watch out for certain things, and they went hands on.
Right.
And so for some people it does help. It snaps something,
Yeah.
and then for some people it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to run that back so it doesn't sound like we're just abusing rookies.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So the DT room is a defensive tactics room, and what they're referring to is like, and I don't know what order these are going to air in, but like we talked to a couple officers who are real proficient in jiu-jitsu, and they tend to be the calmer, more squared away ones when it comes to going hands-on because they've been exposed to it and they're comfortable with it. So a lot of times you have a rookie who is maybe they've never been in a fight, because now we're kind of seeing with the college requirements, we're seeing kind of a pipeline almost of high school, college. If you meet all the requirements, you could very potentially, your first real job could be being a cop. And some of these kids haven't been in fights. So you go to the defensive tactics room, you get somebody up in a red man suit, which is like just a bunch of pads, and you simulate a situation where you might have to go hands-on. You put the rookie in a bad spot. You basically teach them that they're not breakable and that they can get into a physical altercation without just shattering.
Yeah, for some people, the very first time is super scary.
Right. But that's a good example of how cops sometimes oversimplify our job, because we took all of that and then turned it into.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like I know exactly what you mean, but for somebody who's not a cop might not understand that, but it's really teaching them
now.
Yeah, it's really just like a teaching thing.
Yeah.
So, and it does work.
Yeah. So keyboard warriors, don't send us any hate mail, please.
Oh, it's 100%.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't care.
I'm only going to get like 27 views, so it doesn't matter.
26 are
Listens.
all officers.
You mentioned too the getting rid of the guys who don't need to, or girls who don't need to be here, and them having families. That's a big burden, because on the one hand, like I went into it, the way he and I were trained was like, you have to survive your FTO. Once I got here, I was shown there's a different way to do things, and I think a better way to do things. So I very much, I had less of a drill instructor sort of approach to things that I had as a rookie. And I had more of like trying to be a mentor, and even at times even a confidant. And I got pretty positive results, I think. But there was one situation where I had to get rid of somebody, and it wasn't an option. It was just it wasn't even like they can't find a way. It was an integrity issue, and I was like, "No, you're not going to wear the same badge I wear."
Got to go.
And they were from out of town, and they had moved in for the job and had a family, and that's one of those things. Like you have to do what you have to do. I mean, your duties to the public and to your department and to your own integrity as well. But
and at the end of the day, something like that's on them.
For sure,
integrity. So,
but you always kind of feel bad for the people who, the wife, the husband, the kids, or whoever could be involved.
Yeah,
bro, Walmart's across the street.
Yeah, you can take your integrity issues there, I guess.
There you go.
Now, you were talking earlier about the banking and whatnot. We never addressed, how do you make that transition? Like, how are you?
Well, so I worked when I was in college, I worked at a Mexican restaurant as a waiter. So I was doing, I've had lots of jobs, but I was a waiter for 5 years or so. I was just tired of that.
I don't know if you agree, but that's a job I think everyone should do.
Oh, for sure.
Like we should, like the National Military Service that's mandated in certain countries, should be waiting.
Go be a waiter. Yeah. So then you got respect for them because you don't get paid anything as a waiter.
No.
You get $2.13 is what I got an hour, but you still got to take taxes. You still have to claim portion of your cash tips. So whenever you claim that takes out taxes. That wipes out your paycheck. Your $40-something paycheck. It wipes that out. So you really don't make anything from the restaurant itself. You're just working off tips only. So,
I mean, it just teaches the value of just treating people with
treating with people respect. I mean, hard work. You get busy. You got to learn how to manage things. And so it was a great job. I loved who I was working with, but 5 years was 5 years. I was done with it. I was done with school. I mean, super like flexible schedule, all that stuff. It was cool for when I was in college. I'm honest to a fault. I will tell you anything and everything. Like if you I just have a huge conscience. So whenever I'm answering these questions, plus I thought I'm trying to be a cop. I'm going to be honest. And so I just put everything, every single thing.
Bro, I wish you'd have been in my polygraph. So the guy, he's sitting there and he was like, all right, so have you tried marijuana? I was like, no. And he slid his glasses down. And
You
he
lie.
looked at me like this. He goes, so let me ask you again. Have you? And I said, look, I played. I was like, look, I know you've never had a black male never tried marijuana. And he was just like,
Hey.
and I was like, come on, bro. I said, I haven't. I never did. It was funny.
Oh, I had when I was doing the backgrounds, like when I said when I was hurt and I was doing backgrounds, this one guy they talk about like their marijuana usage. This dude was like, he wrote down, most of the time it's like 8 times. Like, oh, I tried it 8 times. I haven't done it in 5 years or whatever. I think our limit is 2 years.
Okay.
And, there's no cap on like the number, I don't think. But this dude like sold to his family members. He wrote all this. So I appreciate the guy's honesty, but he sold to his like family members and friends. And he said approximately 5,400 times or something like that, approximately, And then he said,
bring him in just
like
for being honest.
the last time he was like, last month whenever I graduated. I was like, dude, 1, you didn't read any of the requirements. 2, I mean, I know it's just weed, but you're drug dealing. Like you're dealing an illegal substance, right?
Oh, man.
However you view weed. But I'm like, you're literally a dealer. And now you're just like, yeah, I guess I'll be a cop today. Yeah. I promise I'll stop.
Yeah. He got Ziploc bags in
and
his
he
pocket.
was confused. I called him and I was like,
Oh, man.
hey, man, I hate to break the news, but yeah, you can't like deal drugs and use them like yesterday and then come test. And so he's like, really? And I was like, man, yeah, I know it's mind boggling, but yeah, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
He's like, when's the
Approximately 5,400 times.
Jeez.
How do you even get that math?
I feel like that guy was probably just bet that he wouldn't apply to be a
Dude,
cop.
he was high when he was filling out the application. I guarantee it.
Look, he's
Guaranteed.
Like, the paper smells like
I'm going to roll this.
It's got residue
This is
on
nice paper.
it. Dave's in there shaking it off.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm
there's
like,
a bunch of green stuff on his application.
clean the shake off of this. Oh, yeah. It was kind of crazy.
Oh,
You
man.
have any other background investigation stories?
Yeah, but some of them work here, so I can't say anything. You find out some interesting stuff about people. Some don't work here anymore, but I'm still not going to say anything because they might hear. But
Well, I'll tell you what was crazy is like when the background goes, oh, I'm going to talk to your ex-girlfriend or your ex-wife, and I'm like, I said, okay, wait. Let me just tell you. If she say XYZ, then that's a lie. But, you can say this about me. Oh,
Yeah.
I bet you hear it all.
man, luckily I never ran into an issue where I thought somebody's just straight up lying.
Yeah.
Like just making up a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes doing oral boards, you kind of get to feel that somebody's trying to BS you or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Oral boards are interesting.
yeah, sometimes they can be
Because
super interesting.
because basically you have an officer who wants to be. They passed the background portion.
Yeah, they do like a general like their history statement. So it's like that 50-page application and all that stuff. So as long as there's nothing in there that's against tacticool that gets them automatically kicked out, but then they got to pass the written exam. They got to pass the physical exam.
Right.
So once they do that and there's nothing, no automatic disqualifiers out of their packet, then they generally are going to get an oral board.
Gotcha.
Which is, the 3 of us, 2 and then a supervisor sitting at one table, and then across from them is they're sitting there, everything we all did them to get hired.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
How are those formatted? How do those normally go?
I mean, usually the supervisor is the one that does most of the communicating, asking questions. They give them like 10 minutes to tell us about themselves, which usually takes like 34 seconds.
Yeah,
It's like,
it does.
It's like they're like, I'm 24, I want to be a cop, and now I'm here. And you're like, okay, cool, man. I know everything about you now. and then every single time we got a supervisor, they like put their timer on their phone, and they're like, okay, start now, and they click it, and they're like, and okay, end. 34 seconds. I'm like, man.
Well, they always ask him, like, are you sure you have 9 minutes and 17 seconds left, or you don't want to use
Dude,
it?
well, they act like they've been talking forever. They're like, and I think that's it. Like, okay, dude, cool, man. Yeah. So sometimes they're pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cool being on this side now. Doing the
It is now.
interview.
At the time, because I've always, like the one I did in my last department, dude, you got yelled at, cussed at, screamed. They had the books they would smash on the table in front of you, like just trying to. I don't.
Yeah, we don't really do
In
that
hindsight,
anymore.
I don't know why, but ironically enough, I did way better in that interview or in that on that oral board. Like I
Maybe because it wasn't so uptight.
killed that one.
Yeah.
I felt very uptight, like extremely.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I
Maybe
thought I
just
was-
like
I
Why wouldn't you do this? And,
Yeah.
And I was sitting there like,
I'm not a
because
cop.
I didn't think I was
yeah.
going to get hired in mine. Like whenever
Me either.
I really wasn't. I didn't think I was doing that great. And then
I did awful, and I was
Did you?
already a cop.
for GP,
Yes,
uh,
bad. Like if there's a ranking of top 5,
were they
worst,
just messing? With, I mean, were they messing with you, or you just were hard on yourself?
I did very bad.
Hey, well, you're here.
In my last department, if you changed an answer, pretty much an
You're done.
automatic disqualifier.
See, I've never really
Here.
liked that.
Me either. And here, when I first showed up, they told me, "Hey, this is not like that. We're not gaming the system. We're not out to get you. This is genuinely a conversation."
But then you think, are they tricking me?
But my previous department, a lot of what I was told was a lie. So I was like, "Oh, you're not going to get me. I'm going to stick to all my answers." And then I gave an answer that was so blatantly and obviously wrong, and immediately apparent that it was wrong. But I was like, okay, as long as I stick to my wrong answer,
There you go.
I'm fine.
Oh man, that's
And
like
that
telling
was-
a lie that you can't get out of.
Yeah, or just you don't try to get out of it. You're just
Yeah, like you're
"Yeah,
choosing
this is
to
the
stick
answer."
to your guns,
and they're like,
Yeah.
no,
and they know
you're wrong, and this is why. And I'm like,
I'm not wrong.
no,
Next question.
not changing. And yeah, it was. They sent me out, and I stood in the hallway for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, 2 of the guys, I knew you're supposed to go back in the interview, and all the guys are going to be still in the interview
Yeah,
room.
yeah.
And 2 of the guys that were on the interview board walked out of the room, and then the sergeant called me back in. I was like,
It
oh,
was disgusting.
God.
We gotta get out of here.
And I remember sitting down with Sergeant Robinson at the time.
That's who messed with me, dude.
Yeah. And he's like, buddy, what are you doing? And I had to explain to him. I was like, dude, I literally, the words I said was, I promise I'm not going to be a up. If you will just give me this job.
He was the coolest,
Opportunity,
dude. I
yeah.
hope he listens to this because he was the coolest.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean, he was just a good supervisor.
Yeah.
I came in. I applied for a different agency too, or at the time, and then so I came back in, and he was like, "How do you think you did?" And I was like, "Man, I probably could have answered a little bit better on this one." He goes, "Could have," and I was like, "Oh," and he was like, "You're in the process with Irving, right?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." And he goes, "Have you done your oral board yet?" "No, sir." "Let's hope you do a hell of a lot better on that one." And then just silence, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Yes, sir." There goes that, and he goes, "I'm just playing with you, man. You did pretty good."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh,"
Okay, where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom?
It's
but he was a cool dude.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've gone well over our time, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I think recruiting is a good thing to talk about. Kind of an unexpected direction for the conversation. So
Yeah,
stay
that was
away
cool.
from all the topics you told me to stay away from. So you're welcome.
Yeah, dude, we got to stay appropriate, and I'm a good person, so
Yes, you
I'm a
are.
good
I
person
think so
now.
too.
True. Well, you have any parting words of wisdom you want to share before we split?
I'm just kidding. Oh man, I don't know. I'm not full of wisdom.
Okay, what would you tell somebody that wants to be a detective?
Right. Well, okay, let's just go from the beginning, like going back to being a field training officer. My very first thing, it was like, obviously, officer safety. That's the first thing for everybody. It should be the most important thing. Number 2 is always like the general work ethic that you have and how you treat other people. So I honestly, like, I know I didn't write the best reports. Like I cared about my reports, but working nights, like you're working all night long, you're tired. You don't always write the best reports.
Not
So-
being able to read is a huge mark against you.
Do what?
Not being able to read makes that harder.
Yeah,
too.
dude. Honestly, that's made my job tough. I wish
Sorry.
I wish I could read, but yeah, just so like your general work ethic that you have and how you treat other people. So that's really what I think helped me as much as it did even getting this spot, because you still got it's not a promotion, but you still got to interview and it's all about your reputation. So I think just like having a good work ethic and treat people right. If you treat your coworkers one way, but you treat the general public a different way, people see that. And with the other unit that I'm on, people that try to get on to that unit, but they have a reputation of treating people bad,
Yeah.
well, that's not going to help you out. So, yeah.
When I was in the academy in our department, they told us your application for every single job you're ever going to want as a police officer starts today. Every single thing you do, every single word you type in a report, every interaction you have with officers, with the public, every single thing you do builds a reputation that you're stuck with. Your reputation as a police officer is going to follow you, and everything you do from this point forward is as far as like an application goes, it starts today. And that was one of the best pieces of advice I ever got.
That's what that's the second thing I tell them.
Yeah, you
like,
interview every day.
Yep.
Somebody's watching.
You didn't ask the baby story, dude.
You said you don't have any.
The baby
I respected
story.
that answer.
Not the embarrassing story. The baby story.
What's the baby
The
story?
craziest call I've ever been to.
Oh, crap.
All right, go.
I'm not that
story?
interesting of a person, and that's the most interesting
Well, yeah,
thing
they're gonna cut 20 minutes of this anyway, so we're
Okay.
good.
You want me to tell it to
Yeah,
you?
what's the baby story?
Okay, but I got to lay it out, so this might be 15 minutes itself.
Don't care.
Okay. So, the craziest story I've ever been, or the craziest call I've ever been to.
I haven't heard this one. I know exactly.
I know, this is what we were talking about. Okay, so 9 years or eight years of patrol. This is the craziest one. To me, I don't know if anybody else thinks this is crazy, but you just get used to all the calls you go to, and this one was just different. So it was just a check welfare, normal check welfare. We go to 1 million of them, right? So I go to it. I'm pretty sure the call notes were a sister, like the sister of this chick was calling. She was calling about her sister and basically not answering the phone. All day long, not answering the phone. It's not normal for her. At first, you're just thinking, okay, she's an adult. She doesn't have to answer the phone, whatever.
Right.
So you go to the call. She's outside of her sister's apartment. The sister's car is there, and the light's on in the apartment. It's not quite dark yet, but you can tell that a light is on inside, and door's locked. Her phone is ringing, but it's not. She's not picking it up.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, how often do y'all talk? Oh, we talk every day. We talk in the morning. We text throughout the day. We're best friends. We always talk. I'm like, all right. So did she work today? No, she didn't work today. Today's her day off. All right. You're just going through these questions.
Right.
And like, is she sick? Does she have any sort of sickness at all? She's like, no, she's healthy. She had cancer like 10 years ago, but she's been cancer free ever since. I'm like, okay, so probably not that. Then I'm thinking like, okay, is she in a relationship? Like, what could have happened to this girl? And is she suicidal? No, she's not suicidal. Is she in a relationship? Yeah, she's got a boyfriend. Okay, I get all his information. And then, so we can check previous calls at the location. So I'm checking previous calls at her apartment, and nothing at all. So then I get the boyfriend's information, and I get his address and everything, and I'm checking all the calls that are at that address just to see if there's any disturbances between them. I'm trying to get a good feel of what their relationship's like.
Right.
And then nothing at that address. So then I get his phone number. I call him, and I'm like, "Hey man, what's going on? Whatever. I'm officers." And then I'm like, "Hey, have you talked to whatever her name was?" He's like, "No, I haven't talked to her all day long. Actually, last night since like 9 p.m., I haven't talked to her. How often y'all talk? We talk all the time, just like the sister. We talk all the time. We talk every morning. We tell each other good night, whatever." Hadn't talked to her all day long. It's probably like 7 p.m. this day, and he hasn't talked to her since 9 p.m. the night before. Okay, do you guys get along? Do you guys ever get in, like if he is a suspect, I'm trying not to give it away that I'm like investigating him, but I'm just trying to figure out some stuff. He's like, no, we have a great relationship. We would never fight. We've been together for a year and a half, something like that. Okay, cool. So now I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I mean, she might be inside. I don't really know what's going on. She might need our help. And so we're pretty much done. I've exhausted all of my options. I got a ping on her phone, and the pings aren't very accurate. So it's like 2,000 meters or something. So I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, she's at least in the vicinity, but I don't know exactly where. But so, I mean, this is like an hour and a half of like digging deep into all these locations and trying to figure out what the possibilities are. And call a supervisor at this point because I'm like, well, nothing's really like exigent because that's the only way we can force entry into this apartment to see if she's in there if something's absolutely exigent. So, I call Sergeant and he came up with a good idea. He was like, hey, well, let's get maintenance because we found out there's 2 locks, like 2 deadbolts, one from the outside, one on the inside. He's like, well, let's get a key so we can at least unlock the outside one. And then if it's still locked, we know somebody's probably in there because they've locked that inner lock.
Right.
All right. So yeah, the family, I'm like, hey, all y'all stay down here just in case something, we walk into something that's bad upstairs. So we get the key. This is probably like 2 hours at this point. It's dark. The light's clearly on. I've knocked and banged on the door. No answer at all. And so we get the key. We unlock it, and it's locked. So I'm like, okay, somebody's probably in here. Don't know what the situation is yet. So kick the door open, and we just kind of let it breathe for a second, see if we hear anything on the inside. I do some call-outs and got nothing. So no noise. Everything from the view of like the front door looked fine. Didn't look like anything was out of place. And then so Sergeant and I start to clear it, and I get to a part where I can see blood in the bathroom, just blood all over the floor, kind of like smeared. And I'm like, oh, dude, this isn't good. Like, she could be dead in there. So then I kind of like push back. There's a bedroom right there, and then there's the bathroom where I see the blood. So I quickly, and they're like right next to each other, so I can't stand at the bathroom without being exposed to this bedroom. So I just kind of like quickly glance into the bedroom real quick. I don't see any, a person or anything that seems like it's a threat. So now my focus is the bathroom, and I see the blood, and I clear the corner, and this woman is laying there, and she's got like what looked like a broken leg. Like it's like she's laying on her back, and it's like bent like the opposite direction. Like it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
There's blood all over her stomach, and then like, not to be too graphic, but her clothes were down to like her knees, and there was blood like everywhere. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking like, what in the world? And her eyes are wide open, just staring at the ceiling. And I'm like, hey, are you okay? Obviously she's not okay. And she just like moans. She just makes like a moaning sound, like not even words.
Oh.
And so I'm like, dude, what happened? I'm just trying to figure out what I need to do to like are you hurt? Like, where are you hurt? So I can try to help. We had medics already staged just in case we ran into something like this, where she needed medical attention. And then so she's not really making sense. You can tell that she's out of it. And she's lost a lot of blood, so I'm thinking, okay, we need to get help quick. And then as I'm talking to her, Sarge, he runs down to go get the medics. And we're trying to be quiet so the family doesn't freak out. As soon as they find out she's all bloody and hurt, they're going to go nuts. And then so as I'm standing there, I'm asking her, hey, how long have you been laying here? She was able to get out like last night or something like that. So now I'm thinking, man, she's been laying here for like 24 hours. Her boyfriend hasn't heard from her since 8 p.m. It's almost 8 p.m. now. So she could have been laying here for 24 hours. She's lost blood. And then I look back to her bedroom, and then I look back at her, and I'm like, what the heck was that? And I look back to the bedroom, and there's like blood all over the bed, like a huge puddle of blood. And I'm like, what in the world, dude? Like, I'm lost. I'm like, what in the world happened here? Because I'm not seeing any wounds or anything. I just see like smears of blood everywhere.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, what? And then I look back into the bedroom, and then I noticed something on the floor, and I was like, what is that? And it was a baby, like a baby just laying there. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, this chick, she gave birth in her bed. Oh. And so then I'm like, oh man, I'm about to see a dead baby. Like, I'm just thinking, there's no way it's alive.
No way, yeah.
No way. So all of a sudden it's like I came like crashing down. I'm like, dang, man. And then I'm like, oh, I got to check on the baby now. Like, and so now I walk into the bedroom and I look down, and the baby's like wide-eyed and just like started making some noises and stuff, perfectly fine. Umbilical cord, like 3 foot long. Yeah. I've never even seen that before. Yeah. And the baby's just laying there, happy as can be. Yeah. I mean, newborn baby, smiling, started like making some noises, and I could tell its chest was moving, and I was like, dude, what? And then I was like, I didn't know what to do because I can't yell out, like, because the family didn't even know she was pregnant. And they're like, sister's best friend. Because I asked her that too. I forgot that part. I asked her if she was pregnant or anything, because she said something about her feet swelling. And she said, no, not pregnant, nothing. And then so this baby was fine. And
dang,
we get the medics to come up, and they just run in, pick up the baby, and run out with it. And the family sees, and they start going crazy. Like they're losing it, because they're like, what, a baby, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure she was all right. Like everything, I mean, the baby was fine. But to this day, it's still the craziest call, just because like so unexpected.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be,
like she got stabbed or something, bad domestic. Yeah, I turned and like,
and then you
it
start talking
didn't
about the
even
baby,
look
and I was
real.
like, why are you telling this story?
Yeah. No, it turned out it wasn't sad, dude. It was just like the craziest like sequence of events, and still like the craziest call I've been on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap.
And on that note,
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all listening. Till next time.